Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Running, running, no. Keep running.
Okay, as One Piece readers, we knew that something had to happen to Cobra, right? So Cobra had to see something. In this chapter, it went in depth of what was going on and ultimately why things had to happen to Cobra the way it did. So let's just get into the chapter. So we start the chapter with Sabo actually taking out some of the guards. Now, my thing is, as this chapter continues to go on, we see that everything is done, all the missions accomplished, but Sabo is still in Pangea Castle. So he gave the keys to the cutter suit already. He meets up with Bonnie, right? And he's still trying to see something, what's going on. Mayor Joa, Celestial Dragons, what's going on in Pangea Castle. Like, I don't know if he had an inner thought or something behind his head telling him to keep venturing further into the castle, but he definitely found what he really wanted to find. But as the guards saying that some people are missing, and the reason that they go missing because they see the empty chamber. Now, that could be the chamber that Emu is at, or it could be a chamber that we don't even know where the Straw Hat is at, but these individual guards are going missing, and it seems like it's a routine thing. So before the guards can actually talk about the lost chamber, we see that Sabo gave Kurosu the slave key, so that mission is accomplished, right? So everything that Dragon told Sabo to do, his objective and with his missions, is actually accomplished. So I'm thinking, like, is there a secret mission that Dragon told Sabo to do that he didn't want anybody else, knowing? So it could only be one thing, or maybe, like I said, Sabo got curious and ventured off deeply inside Pangea Castle. I think that maybe there was a secret mission between Dragon and only Sabo, because what other reason is Sabo venturing off so far in Pangea Castle? If all the objectives that Dragon gave him is accomplished, he needs to get out of there, right? Because at the same time, at the end of this chapter, we see that what happened to Carlos, he need to get out of there. There's no way, shape, and form that if there's 3 admirals facing off with Sabo, that's not a good look. Even though the admirals cannot go all out, a casualty will come. And I feel like the Revolutionary Army need all the manpower they have right now to go against these Celestial Dragons in the world government. And I can say one thing. We seen that Sabo actually ditched Bonnie before even going to this lost chamber. And I feel that Sabo had a deep feeling this lost chamber would actually get Bonnie in trouble if she also see it. And she don't want that on her hands, Kuma's only daughter being killed because of what Sabo might see. So Sabo did have a hunch actually of what this lost chamber might be, or what surrounds this lost chamber. So we have to continue what Cobra was actually saying to the 5 elders. Now, this go in depth, right? And I can say one thing about Cobra. Cobra actually brought this among himself, right? Because I feel like he knows about this lost letter that Lilith had and what impactful moments it might bring to the 5 elders and what they may think about, because this letter brings up deeds, right? And this is right after, the 20 kingdoms became who they are now. So as Cobra continues to talk about really the makeup and design, what happened after the Void Century, with the 20 kingdoms coming together actually and forming what we know as, the kingdom standard, right? I don't want to go back and touch upon the 20 kingdoms because as seasoned One Piece watchers, we already know what's going on. But as Cobra put a little twist on it, basically saying that the High Anarchy, right, Lilith did not return after the 20 kingdoms was found, and there's only 19 swords on the throne. So that means that Lilith didn't even put her weapon down on the throne. So it seems like something happened to Lilith, because the reason is that she did not come back to Alabasta. Lilith was different. Lilith didn't want to become a Celestial Dragon. She actually wanted to go back to Alabasta and rule, but instead she didn't make it back. So her brother ruled instead. And as Cobra tried to get more details on Lilith, he went to the historical documents of the library of his bloodline, and still there is no mention of Queen Lilith. So he started thinking, like, what is actually going on? Now, I feel that once One Piece watchers see this and read this, there's so many theories that go in everybody's head. There's a lot of canon things that's going inside it. And I feel like butt pulling is coming at its all-time high after this chapter. But still, I can feel how Cobra is going through this and be like, bro, what is actually going on? Like, there's only 19 weapons on the throne. There's nobody occupying the throne. Lilith, there's no documents of her. And it seemed like she did not make it back after the 20 kingdoms was formed, but there's 20 kingdoms still because little brother continued to reign after her. So I can actually understand Cobra's concern, but you see how Jay Garcia answered like, that's what you really wanted to ask? I thought it was something else, right? He's actually scared, but what comes next is scary. But I can say Emu actually is listening on to the conversation. As we see in other panel, Emu's listening. But I feel like that's what celestial dragons do. They actually eradicate things, anything from history that does not benefit them. And I can say one thing, Jay Garcia in response is trying to say that, oh, we thought that she went back to her kingdom. We don't actually know what's going on. Everything else is lost to the cobweb of time. Like, come on, bro. And I feel like one thing about Emu, we can say maybe if the facts are true, that maybe she is a descendant of Lilith, and I'm pretty sure that's not Lilith in the making unless she has a fruit where she cannot age, like sugar fruit, but that comes with sugar devil fruit, right? So maybe there is devil fruit that keeps you from aging, and maybe Lilith is the true king. Queen, king. It could be either or. I don't know whether to call Emu a man or woman, but she looked flimsy, and we see a flashback, a silhouette. Lilith, right? So I really don't know if she has the age fruit, and maybe Lilith is the true heir to the world of One Piece, and that's why she's set up on the throne, or it could be somebody, a descendant. Emu could be a descendant of Lilith, and it continues like that. And maybe that could be the case. I don't want to speculate too much because my channel, I don't want to base my channel off of trolling. Trolling is at its all-time high right now, and I don't want to troll nobody. I don't like being trolled, and I don't want anybody to troll you guys because these trolls are making things out of nothing, and it's like it's very bad. So this channel, Manga D Cypher channel, is not a trolling channel. So I want to take what I have in these manga, because this is official Viz translation mangas, and I want to give my thoughts of actually what I think is going on. But I could say one thing though, since Lilith weapon is not on the throne, right? I feel that she didn't even take the oath, right? That maybe all these 20 kings actually did, right? So I can say one thing, if she did not take the oath, she was already dead or already had the thought that I am the true ruler already and took the seat as an empty throne. So there's so many things that we can speculate right now. I just don't want to miss something, right? So I kind of reread it, but I'm like not trying to troll anybody, like I said before. But there is key points in this chapter that we can look back on. And also, it could be another thing where Lilith did not want actually what happened in the Void Century to happen again, or she actually was going to tell everybody about the Void Century, and she could have just got off like that. So, like I said, there's so many opinions that what happened about the Void Century, and actually who actually was going to spill the beans about the Void Century. And I feel like maybe Lilith was actually one of the people that going to say something about the Void Century. But we have to continue with the chapter. So what Cobra says next to the five about what is the initial D struck a nerve in all of the 5 elders. So I'm thinking like, bro, at this point right now, they knew instantly, oh yeah, whatever you say next, it's over with. So as Cobra mentioned, D actually mentions also about this 800-year-old brief letter about the D. And Cobra right here understands that something is fishy is going on about the Void Century, right? And I feel like his layout is very good. How he came to the 5 elders about this was very calculated until the point of his death. But I can say one thing. If this letter was passed down to every king and queen of the Alabasta Kingdom, Cobra was the only person not scared, right, to go to the 5 elders about this letter. And maybe I think that this is the reason why One Piece is happening right now. Everything is linked together, like what the One Piece is in the time frame of what Cobra's actually saying to the 5 elders. Like, things is going to hit the fan right now. And like I said, Oda mapping this out to making an amazing event in the One Piece verse. And like I said, just come back to me when everything lines up, right? Because whoever made the One Piece, whoever made the poneglyphs, They knew everything was gonna unravel in these years to come. And also, it would have been a good thing if Lilith's brother was actually introduced. His name was introduced in this chapter, for we can give this guy a name. Because I feel like I said before, I feel like this king actually put a generation fear inside the kings to come about, like, don't tell nobody about what's going on, but this is the letter that you need to read, and don't do nothing about it. Just read it, make a note about it, about the world, and just pass it down and pass it down. And the fear, a generation of fear that this king, Lilith's brother, put inside every king to come is kind of bad. And he's the reason why things the way it is now. The fear of the five elders, the fear of the celestial dragons, the fear of the world government, when he could have did something about it. But I fear that he also feared the same faith his sister Lilith feared. But we have to continue with the chapter, because I can keep going on and on what's going on in those panels, right, with the five elders and Cobra. So we have to continue what's going on with Shirahoshi, her brothers, and the butthole Carlos. And he definitely needed it. But this chapter is called An Attempted Murder on Celestial Dragons. So we're pretty sure that he's not dead. It was attempted murder, and we know that Oda does not like killing off his characters. And I don't like how it's like out of 99% of Celestial Dragons, there's the 1% like Moesgar who actually is a good Celestial Dragon. And as we continue with this interaction between Carlos and Shirahoshi and the rest of the gang, we see that Moesgar actually is standing on what the Twin Nations is based off of. We can't have Celestial Dragons fight Celestial Dragons, Kingdom fighting Kingdom, because of the empty throne, the non-dictatorship. All right, so Moesgar is standing on that. He has morals at the same time, and it makes perfect sense that side, right? They can do that. They're pirates. They can run away, but kingdoms cannot. You would get destroyed overnight, like Luisha Kingdom, if that would happen. But we see that people don't understand the heat of the moment, but that's very good character development for Moesgar, because if that would have happened, oh my God, Rurouni Kingdom would have been over. So think about how much Otahime came and how far Ryugu Kingdom came, right, to even get here. That would have been wasted, because you know what the five elders can do, wipe you from memory. But we seen before Kuma could unleash Kizaru Beam on Sai and Leo, we seen that Marley actually came from the floor with Devil Fruit and grabbed them and is going to take him to Kumbu, keep him for the briefly time he was on there. And this thing is going to be blown out of proportion about Sai and Leo almost killing Carlos. They might have a huge bounty after that, even though they're with, Luffy Company. They're going to have a huge bounty after this, almost killing Carlos. So we see that this is going to go haywire after this turn of events. But I can say one thing. After, Marley came and saying Kuma, I'm pretty sure Kurizu and the rest of the illusionary captains definitely got missing, because Sabo was the only person there. Definitely, because as they saved Kuma, they knew the objective. They knew what was going on. Everything's complete now. We have to listen to the Chief of Staff Sabo. He told us everything's clear, so let's get the moving. So, like I said, last chapter, definitely 100% success for the Revolutionary Army. This is a W for the Revolutionary Armies, but we have to continue what was going on, because at the end of this chapter, with Imu taking the throne, and I feel like Cobra was hitting on everything he was saying, and that's why Imu came upon the throne and sat on the throne, and Cobra was starstruck. He was so shocked that there was somebody on that throne, right? The relationships with the 20 kingdoms and generations to come, that nobody should sit on that throne. And to have somebody sit on that throne, Cobra is shocked. And Imu even said that Lilith, the descendant of Cobra, she said the name Lilith. And I was like, bro, does that mean like Imu knows Lilith? That has to mean like, Lilith, I know that name, right? So we are on break next week, and I can't wait to find out what actually Imu is going to say next. Like, this is the first time we've seen Imu talk. Everything goes through Imu. And Imu is a secret judge, jury, and executioner, right? So to see her talk and say Lilith, and she taking the throne and trying to see Cobra, like Cobra was hitting on everything, had to be. And she had to show her face. And I think that Lilith is somebody of interest from now on out in Imu's mind and our mind as One Piece watchers. And I don't know why I'm saying Lilith. I think it's probably short for Lily. That's why I think it is. Maybe her name was Lilith. And maybe that's why Dr. Vegapunk named Lilith. I don't know, but it's pretty short. But I think I want to use the full name Lilith, like short for Lily. Sorry what happened to Lily, or something happened to Lily bad. I don't know, but Lily is a point of interest from now on out with Emu and us. So I want to see what's going to happen with Vivi, right? Did Cobra actually tell Vivi this before he went inside? Because maybe of what happened to him, right? I don't think that people know the true 5 elders like we know the true 5 elders and how evil they are. So hopefully Cobra told Vivi this 800-year brief letter, right? And she knows exactly what's going on about the Void Century, about the initial D. So let's just hope that Cobra was smart enough, because I feel like he laid this plan out, coming to the 5 elders, and he did it accordingly. So let's just hope he did it accordingly to the point when he could foreseen his death, right? So hopefully Vivi noticed. I'm lucky that we as One Piece fans know how close Vivi is with the Straw Hats, and she would actually tell the Straw Hats about the Void Century or about the 800-year letter about the Void Century. We can say that it's about the Void Century. Let's just say hopefully it's about the Void Century. So hopefully Vivi knows this, and she would get back to the Straw Hats about this. And one thing I can say, let's just hope that Cobra, did what needed to be done and foreseen his death, because there's no other way maybe that we can get the Void Century as quick as we can with Vivi. Like, where would Vivi go after she leave Big News Morgans, if she want to leave Big News Morgans, right? She would have to go with the Alliance. Somewhere in the Alliance she would be, safe, or with Luffy and company. So I'm pretty sure she's also a target now that 5 others know what Cobra knows, right? So maybe they would think the same thing what we're thinking. Maybe Cobra told Vivi and she's on a hit list also. But we're going to see, maybe not this week coming in, but week after that, of what's actually going to happen to Cobra. Exactly who shot him, who killed him. Because we know it can't be Sabo. So an amazing chapter. I try to touch on as much as I can during the chapter, because this video is already long as it is, because we have this amazing chapter about something about the Void Century a little bit, and Emu and the 5 elders. Like, it's so much for us One Piece fans to read this weekly and to get more information. And luckily we're on break, so we can indulge in this, analyze this more about this chapter for our break. But like I said, Oda is giving us everything in this final saga. I'm so happy that we are witnessing this. And like I said, this chapter was a 10 out of 10. World building chapters, like I said, is my favorite. I'll take a world builder over a fight scene any day. So like I said, chapter 10 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to get more of me and more One Piece content. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.